All right.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome to Keeping It Real, the largest podcast made by real estate agents and for real estate agents. My name is DJ Paris. I'm your guide and host through the show. And we are talking today to top producer Darwin Stephens. And Darwin is an amazing agent from Dallas, and I want to tell you more about him. He's the CEO and founder of the Raddr Group, RADDR, and he is also the founder and face of Selling Dallas, which is his brand. It's a federally recognized luxury real estate brand redefining how high-level real estate is positioned in Texas. He has more than 25 years of cross-industry leadership experience spanning hospitality, telecom, automotive, and of course, real estate. He combines executive-level strategy with elite market execution. He's a multi-million-dollar producer, as you probably suspect. He's a luxury real estate expert, a licensed property tax consultant, a licensed mortgage loan officer, and a certified methodologist, which is strategically positioning him as a comprehensive portfolio maximizer. I love that, portfolio maximizer for his clients. He's ranked number one, this is true, number one most trusted realtor in Texas for 2025. Texas is a massive place, and he's been featured in over 450 national and international media outlets. Darwin has become a respected voice in business and real estate. He is currently in his senior year, earning his Bachelor of Applied Arts and Sciences, further strengthening his foundation in leadership and strategic growth. Known for his sharp market insight and strong community presence, Darwin is very passionate about building generational wealth through real estate strategy. Darwin, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I got to meet this guy. That sounds awesome.
I know it's amazing.
Impressive, yeah.
Well, you're very impressive, and that leads me to first just say thank you, because you're a busy guy. You do a lot of things, and one thing I didn't mention in there that I know is a really big deal for you is you also give back. You serve on boards and committees in I don't know if I believe it's at the state level or perhaps the local level, but you are part of it and you're doing it
In there,
on top
yeah,
of all
for
this great
sure.
business.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're part of, or I don't know if you still are, but I know at one point you were part of the Young Professionals Network. I as well did that for 3 years.
Chairman.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's a lot of fun.
Nice.
And your MLS is what, like 5th largest in the country. So you guys must be massive. So that's
they
incredible.
Combined. Yeah, it's insane. Yeah. Thank you so much, DJ.
Oh, no, thank you. So excited to have you. So, okay, I want to get right into it because you come from the corporate world, and most agents, or it seems like a lot of agents, get into real estate from another job or because they bought a house. Sometimes that's the reason. But you left a 25-year corporate career spanning all these different industries, hospitality, telecom, automotive. And then you went full-time in real estate in 2020, which is amazing as well, right when COVID hit. So walk me through that decision. What made you say now is the time?
Wow, just hearing you say that, it brings up many emotions, because I'm leaving a security blanket that I've known, like lots of money, huge, like I'm tapped on the shoulder by the CEO of CEOs, you know what I'm saying? Because there's multiple companies within there. So no reason to leave at all, except for my own goals, right? Scary. Anyway, so to answer your question, I felt, I've accomplished a lot within these companies, I did, and impressed a lot of people, impressed myself. So I always knew that I was going to put my skill set to work directly for my own company at some point. So when I left that Fortune 10 company, I don't know if we could say names or anything, whatnot. When I left, obviously on great terms, but it was definitely opening a brick and mortar company. Okay. So I had it all mapped out, had it monetarily, everything set up. Okay. I was literally shopping for a brick and mortar space. I mean, business plan done, vendors, etc. Anyway, COVID hits.
Right.
Could you imagine leaving a setup so well? And then I am so not stubborn at all, but determined to write out my plan. And nobody knew how long it was going to last, right? So I'm still, for about a month or so, I'm still shopping, right? I'm still thinking it's going to turn around. Luckily, I did a plan for a transition and any type of mistakes a year before that. And I did get my real estate license. So yeah, that's how everything just kind of came, wow, man, there's so many emotions tied there. Lots of moments.
Well, and
That's in a nutshell. Yeah.
I love that though. And I can't imagine, I applaud the courage to leave the, corporate America it's a very attractive, especially if you're higher up. Of course, there's a lot of security, there's benefits, there's all sorts of retirement planning, and just that's your world. And so to step away from that and say I'm going to bet on myself, it's one thing if someone's desperate and they have very few other options. You weren't, and
Right.
you had lots of options to stay in corporate America and probably go to a lot of different companies that you could have switched over to and just found something else, and you didn't. And I really, really applaud you for that, because I always think it's the person that walks away from a seemingly amazing deal to build something better for themselves
I
without
am
any.
getting chills.
Yeah. Well,
That's the
I'm gonna.
emotions that's coming up from that. Yeah.
Well, good.
Seriously.
I think it should, because it's an amazing
I don't
accomplishment.
think people
And
understand what you just said all the way. Thank you. Thank you.
well, it's you're welcome, because a lot of agents start out part time, right? They have the corporate job and they're like, I'll do this nights and weekends. And okay, yes, is it possible to do that? Of course, it's
Right.
possible. You're not going to ever. It's going to take a lot longer, and it's very difficult to
Right.
do that. Obviously, serving sort of two masters at the same time, that's very, very difficult. But to just take one and go, I'm burning, essentially not burning the bridge, but I am torching the thing behind me, and I'm going to go full force and make it work. But I want to talk about some bad advice that you got when you first started, because
Okay. Yeah. Let's
just
do it.
because it made me chuckle a little bit. And by the way, I know people that have done this particular advice I'm about to mention that was suggested to you, and it's worked. And now most of us would go, no, I don't want to do that, just like the way it sort of worked for you. But it is funny that, like, there's so many ways to build this business. But the advice that you got, that was not great advice, was told to knock on doors for business. And then you went full time during a pandemic, where it's like you couldn't really knock on doors. So
Let's
how
talk
did
about
that
credibility
yeah,
of the
right.
broker.
How did that constraint, yeah, right, actually shape the business you built? So you couldn't do the thing they told you to do. So what did you do instead?
Ah, okay, so I come from marketing, sales background, running my own, blah blah blah. Anyway, yeah, we kind of went through that. So I knew I was going to have to. I can't do the norm. There's no events to like meet people with, right?
Right.
Technically, I'm not going to knock doors. First of all, the homes I'm positioned for, um, probably you wouldn't knock those doors technically, So
Right.
I
Those people
had
don't
to
want you
really
just knocking on their doors. They don't want anybody knocking on
at
their doors. Yeah.
all, at
Right.
all, exactly. So a couple things, Dylan. Anyway, DJ, excuse me. So what I did, luckily, I was tapped on the shoulder. I have, a few people in the industry that I know. Luckily, I was tapped on the shoulder for development. Initially, starting out in
Wow.
Garland, okay, because of my background. Um, yeah, so luckily I had that to kind of push me on through, right? And I learned a lot. I was
Wow.
able to get around all that, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go. That's
And
the
and by the
answer on
way,
how I got out there. Mhm.
you know, by the way, that's an amazing accomplishment to be chosen for development right away. Which
Yeah, yeah.
so many agents, that's a fantasy for so many agents to do that. And so what a great thing. And I also want to talk about your background, which we didn't mention, but you have a background in acting and theater. And
Too.
do those skills of performance, of being able to, just relate to an audience or to your fellow actors, do any of those skills translate over into real estate? Do you see them showing up?
I think naturally it does, but also that translates in corporate America as well, because you can't have a bad day when you're motivating a team. So I think it's
Right.
just years of just leading, right? And then
Yeah.
knowing how to, I guess, kind of compress or when to bring it out, et cetera, et cetera. So yes, 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 yes. The answer is yes. You
Because
have
you
to.
led teams of what, hundreds, right? I mean, you
Well,
were
at one point in marketing, I mean, I was holding calls and blitzes for 200 plus people. So yes, 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 yes. And then my direct sales teams, 15, 20, like multi-million dollar businesses. So yes, all that.
incredible. Well, I
Thank you.
know that you are play a lot in the luxury space. That is your brand, and it is very. It's a very difficult space for anybody to play in, because everybody wants to be a luxury real estate agent. And you've said, and I love this, that business acumen is the edge in luxury real estate, and that most agents they really just don't understand lessons that you've learned in corporate America. But I want to get specific. So, what's like one framework or principle from the corporate world that directly changed how you negotiate a luxury deal,
Negotiate a luxury deal. I think
or
it's
just getting a luxury
more,
listing,
yeah,
even?
just getting a luxury listing. I think it's the questions involved with the discovery process, okay? And whether you have employees or folks you're trying to sell in front of you in corporate America, or multi relationships outside of the box, right, that you're representing the company with, it really does come down to what does the person in front of me actually need, not what I think they need. So it's understanding and then being able to articulate that enough and simplify it.
Mm,
Sometimes so many people make things so difficult. My secret to success when I was number one seller in America was simplifying the process, the change process, et cetera, et cetera. There you go. That's me in a nutshell, right? There's no magic to it, right? It's being approachable, communicating well, understanding the needs and wants, and executing and following through.
yeah, it sounds like a lot of listening. It sounds, instead of presenting, or rather in lieu of immediately presenting, it's a lot of kind of way maybe a consultant would approach a corporate gig that they're
Consultative,
work.
exactly. Sorry,
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but you're spot on.
No, I'm just glad I was on the right path there, because I think that is, maybe if we were all called real estate consultants, it would elevate the skill, or people would rise to, and develop more of those skills to be more consultative. And I know that's the corporate
Okay.
world, and at least in the Fortune 10 world for sure. And it is
Yeah,
obviously something that you know.
I have just one more to add to that, if I may, because I can't walk away from this without saying I don't assume.
Yeah.
I do not assume. There are so many people that jump to conclusions and assume, and I've seen it kill careers. I do not assume. I ask basic questions at first, okay, to confirm understanding and jump into it. I do not assume at all, at
Yeah.
all. Never, never did.
It's really
Yeah.
smart too, because you walk in almost egoless at that point, because you're like, I'm here to
Yes.
serve you. And
Right.
if I can get to know you and your actual needs and wants, then I can hopefully serve that up to you. I don't have to filter it through what I think you need, or what I think. It's obviously you are going to put your perspective in there, but you're
Right.
really operating out of just that principle of listening. And I think it sounds so
Absolutely.
simple, but it's a lot of agents don't maybe have that
The
skill yet.
learned skill. Yeah,
Yeah, it is a
exactly.
learned
Yeah.
skill. So you managed hundreds of people, you ran national marketing campaigns. When you're sitting across from like a C-suite executive or a high net worth client, do they know that you speak their language? And are you able to signal that? Because we all know that there is corporate speak, right? There is sort of,
Yes.
luxury
Elevator
speak.
pitches.
Yeah.
Yes. Great question. Wow, hadn't been asked that before, really. It depends on the environment and where I'm at. If I'm out of town, uh, at a event out of town, maybe not. Maybe they've done some research on me. Um, but what I'm finding is it's still conversational. We just approach each other. What can I say? And just based off of the end results, I can tell they understand I speak their language once we're done. So I would say potentially no. More in Dallas, you probably have seen something about me or something along those lines with the different facets that I've done. You should, uh, but definitely, I think it's probably no initially, and then yes at the end.
And does it come up that, do you talk about the corporate world if you are talking to a high level corporate client where you're like, I actually come from the same world? Does it come up, or just out of curiosity?
Yeah. So it really depends on the question and answer format. I'm just going to use one of the most recent ones that I had from an international builder. I was down in Miami recently for the Red Awards. Lots of great developers, uh, great audience. Anyway, so the conversation was more about learning more about me and what I do. Obviously, looking at my cards, he asked me about my NMLS format. But yeah, you can definitely tell when there's an interview process going on because they want to know more about your background. They can tell
Yeah.
you're not just like standard.
Yeah.
Even outside of the press, what can I say? Like, this is before they're viewing all that, you know?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And you've been you've had a lot of press over the years, and I'm curious for those of us who are unsure about how much that matters. Now, I believe it probably matters more, although I don't know, maybe not in the, I was going to say in the luxury space, but I don't know, probably, I mean, anyone can Google anyone and they probably all do anyway. But how
Yeah.
much credibility does that help you, sort of with winning deals, because you have been featured
Oh,
a lot. You are a trust. You have awards. You've done lots of interviews. Does that
thank you.
come up where people are like, "Oh, I saw this thing that you did," or does it come up when you're chatting with a new
It
client?
it depends on the space, you know, it depends on the space and how well versed they are in the industry, so I'll put it that way. But
Yeah,
to answer your question, what has that done for me? I think it's important, especially in the digital age, to have some sort of platform that speaks for you prior to even
yeah,
meeting a person. I think it's important for folks to be able to pull up something and see who you are before meeting you, right? And then let everything kind of match. So, uh, what can I say? I've been blessed. I've been blessed with the accolades I've received. I mean, these are not. I mean, first of all, I'm on your show as well, but these are not. Uh, I don't want to be like generic. These are not low end publications. I mean, these
no,
are barons. These are things I subscribed to in high school. You know, Wall Street Journal
yeah,
subsidiaries. You know, barons.
Barron's,
You've got
yeah,
USA Today. I mean, you've got LA running on me, right? You've got all kind of things going on. So I am not so pompous, you know, to not really fall back and understand the importance of what that provides. Just when people are running stories on you, electing to, your brand's tied in with them.
yeah.
So it's an honor. What can I say?
Has it
It's an
ever?
honor.
It is an honor, and it's. I mean, these are not rinky dink. Anyone can get
That's what I was gonna
interviewed.
say too. Yeah, yeah,
These are big deal publications or networks,
yeah.
and they've chosen you to talk and speak and be interviewed. Has it ever happened where somebody watched one or read one and went like, "I got to call this guy. I want him to be my agent." Has it ever been that direct?
You know, I think no, not necessarily that direct. I think it's
Sure.
more in the space celebrity type scenarios
Yeah,
where because you know you're gonna know about the people on the guest list with you, right?
for sure.
I think there are options out here. You know, I've got teams for everything, so I've got teams that are constantly sending things out. There are people that seek me out to work with me. I don't take everything. So to answer your question, I would say no directly. They're not saying, "Okay, I saw you USA Today and I want to work with you." They're calling me saying, "Hey, I think I want you to work over here," and I'm not asking really how you know about me, to be honest with
Right,
you. So
right,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Now, so many agents want to become high net worth, you know, agents, luxury agents. What's the what's the biggest mistake you see that agents who want to play in that space make, and it just doesn't work? I'm sure you see many people try. It's a very competitive space, but what do agents kind of get wrong about the luxury space?
You know, when it comes to luxury clients, you're dealing with intelligence just like anyone else. But um, I, I think people try and present themselves from something they're not, right? And you
Yeah,
kind of lose credibility before you even start off. So that's number one, right? You're dealing with C-suite folks, just like you said, intelligent. Not saying anyone else not in luxury is not intelligent. That's not what I'm saying at all. But obviously, I'm sure they're pitched a lot, right? So, I mean, literally, that first impression matters. So I think they're missing some of the details, and they're failing to be in the areas, the spaces with these
yeah.
people. You know, yeah,
I've talked to, like, in particular, a lot of luxury agents out in California who work in the entertainment space. And so, or the sports entertainment space. So people who are either athletes or professional athletes or athletes who are on TV, doing commentating, or actors, et cetera. And they say what's interesting about that particular space, and I imagine you have experience with this as well, even with C-suite people would fall in this category, is sometimes there's many people involved in the transaction, right? There may be a business manager or an accountant or an attorney. Some of these high net worth individuals have a whole team. And so I imagine sometimes in your transactions, it's like, it's not just me and the client, it's me and the client and their accountant. And I imagine it can be quite, daunting to have to,
Do you know what I'm
deal with
finding?
teams.
What I'm finding, I'm typically invited into the boardrooms to host meetings for their
Wow.
staff at this point. So it's a little
Wow.
different for me, and I think it's just my business background more than
Yeah.
just luxury aid. It's something different whenever you're coming with huge success, Fortune 10 level Harvard training. There's a little people want that their teams to have that. But yes, correct. You're correct. That's absolutely correct. You're dealing with accounting departments, leasing departments. You're dealing with the lower level VPs, all that stuff. But my yeah, I'm
It's it
typically in the boardrooms giving the meetings.
That's incredible, and what amazing credibility that lends to, that the rest of the C-suite, right? It's like, oh yeah, I should probably be working with this guy as well. Amazing.
I
Now
would.
I want to talk about your brand because I think this is
Yes,
particularly interesting. So Selling Dallas, it's a federally registered trademark. And that's not a business decision most agents would ever think about. When did you
right.
decide that you were building a brand and not just a practice?
Immediately, even before I left my company.
Yeah, yeah,
Literally, when I started Instagram, I immediately know I have to have a way to differentiate myself from all these agents. So my process and thought process started then. Okay. And it just really came down to, hey, Dallas is a metropolis, right? That megalopolis, excuse me, that's attracting lots of folks. I'm selling, simplicity is what I talked to you about, right? So selling Dallas, that's what I came up with. Um, immediately,
yeah.
immediately.
Yeah, I figured. Well, and again, you're a corporate marketing guy. You understand campaigns and strategy and how to execute, and then how to adjust along the way based on results. So, um, that's kind of what I figured you would mention. But yeah, you have been
Yeah.
featured in, and we should probably quantify this, over 450 media outlets. I mean, this is an incredible amount of press there, and we've already listed some of the names, but how does your team, I imagine they reach out to you at this point, just like with my podcast, I used to have to reach out to agents
Yes.
because nobody was listening and I didn't have any sort of notoriety or at all, and thankfully now that's changed. But
Yeah.
how important is it for you to, are you still doing as much press as you ever were? I don't know how busy you are to even be able to do that, but just out of curiosity, is that something you really enjoy doing?
I mean, anytime I feel like I have a gift for many people, right? I connect well with people, and I feel like my roadmap is reflective of current America, hence the podcast, if we get into that.
Yeah.
Uh, there are more and more people having to leave corporate America because, I mean, I'll just use the most obvious AI right now, but just it's about trimming, not the fat. I don't want to say like they're not important, but you get trimmed. So people are not able to retire. Okay. So what I did in my story transcribes to many people from different backgrounds and different age levels. So to answer your question, I do have pending press that and I don't want to say this to be whatever, that I've declined until a little bit later in the year. Um, so to answer your question, yes, I am still getting press requests. Yes, I do have things pending. And yes, I am able to say not at this time.
Amazing. Yeah, well, it's just truly amazing. Now let's talk about the podcast that's coming up in April, May of this year. You're about to become a media host yourself. So, what convinced you that a podcast was the right next move for the brand?
Oh God. Just I'm not sure how your story happened, but sometimes things just kind of emerge. What can I say? Um, and that's what it did. The podcast emerged. By the way, it's in June. The build out to the new office will be completed by then, which I was able to get in Preston Hollow, a prestigious neighborhood here in Dallas. Anyway, um, but it just emerged. The American dream is important to a lot of people, and the pathway, what I've discovered with many people, has changed. It used to be, hey, get you a great job, corporate career, you're going to retire, you're going to have a house, okay, and the family. Well, a couple things are missing, you know. Uh, People aren't able to retire, and then the how do I say this? The home pricing structure isn't as lucrative as it was back in the day. So it takes a little bit more time. So yeah, we definitely are seeing a lot of people creating, trying to find new pathways towards the American dream, which is sustainability. People have to retire. People have parents that have to retire. So yeah, this is a hot, hot topic. CNBC's talking about it a lot. We've got the local news talking about the American dream. I'm hearing it everywhere. Um, I even President Trump mentioned it. I want to say a couple months ago. American dream, and he's helping to look for it just based off of what he's done, his positioning. Not being political, I'm just saying from that level down, the American dream is very important, and it emerged. So there you go. Yeah,
I love that. So tell us about the format of the show.
great. Okay, so it's gonna be me typically. Maybe bring in a guest host. We're talking about hot topics, and then of course I'm intertwined with what do you call that, technology as well. So we'll spotlight some real estate technology. I look forward to, I've got a media company shooting, integrating, maybe home tours at a certain point just to kind of spotlight different dream paths.
Love that.
Let's see what else. I will be traveling to different cities as well to broadcast. So it's emerging, right? Obviously, I've got my full details, stored away. But yeah, that's the gist of it. It's going to be impactful
I love that.
and
And
cool, not heavy. Yeah, not heavy.
well, once it comes out, we'll definitely push our listeners to check it out. I
Thank
also
you.
I want to talk about methodology, because this is a tech that I hadn't heard about, and I imagine a lot of our listeners haven't. And I want to talk about this because this is a pretty special thing that I'm about to mention, because you were handpicked by this company, which I think is headquartered in South Africa. And you were handpicked to kind of help them deploy their hyperreal 3D visualization tech in the Dallas market. So before we get into like what it does, just explain to me what methodology is for someone who's not heard of it.
It's exactly what you said. Well, first of all, you'd have to be kind of in the industry to kind of understand the benefits of it. So, what I'm going to break down to you may make sense, which I believe everyone is in the industry. So, it is definitely a technology development solution. Um, I see it as selling out properties and developments before they're even built or fully imagined. Hyperreal, you've already mentioned that terminology, which is goes beyond 3D. Obviously, there's videos on my website to explain it further. We've got, collaboration tools in there, which is extremely helpful when you're dealing with multiple groups, architects. You want to move this, move that. Saves time, which saves money. I think most importantly, it's the peace of mind that comes with, just a strategic approach to your development. Small upfront acquisition charge, saving money. It's a no-brainer for someone still spending millions or billions of dollars. Uh, what can I say? You can walk the development before you're even there. And I think why I was sought out is that my international customers from Dubai, they've been reaching out for a technology to utilize. They don't necessarily want to fly here all the time to look at properties. So it was spot on.
It's
Hopefully, I didn't undersell it. It's amazing though. It's
it
phenomenal.
basically, it allows somebody to not just sort of see here's what the place is going to look like. It actually allows them to walk through the property, as you mentioned. That's a truly remarkable thing. Let me bear with me just a second here. There we go.
Okay.
But yeah, it allows people to really sort of experience the property. Are there goggles involved? How does it work? Is it just on computer? Like, how does it?
So right now it is definitely computer based. Excuse me. Obviously implementation. I can't really get into the what's to come, but obviously it's designed for your more advanced spectacles that are out there. Uh, Interactivity. So yeah, and the process works like so. You reach out to me, and I know it's Dallas, but I was tapped for all across the U.S. market. So
Wow.
literally any state, you reach out to me, I'll get you pre-qualified, and then what we'll do is set you up with a larger meeting to kind of tailor the scenarios with some of my bosses. We do have an office here in Chicago as
Yeah, I
well,
saw that.
and
That's great.
obviously, yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's that, man. It's cool. It's some issues that we've had is number one, the security of finding kind of funding for development, which we help with that as well. And also, before someone lends money, they're going to want to know a strategic plan and see the execution typically beforehand.
Sure.
So there are many facets that it answers for not just seasoned developers, but developers starting out as well, or maybe one or two. It's just going to streamline everything and kind of make it really efficient and what you need. It's the security needed.
Yeah. Well, that's very exciting. I'm exciting to watch that tech emerge and hopefully take over the developer space and really become, this thing that everybody's using. I want to
Yeah.
talk about. You call yourself a portfolio maximizer, and this isn't just a phrase, right? Because you have a triple license, which I think is incredible. I don't know anyone who has these three altogether. You're a realtor, you're a mortgage loan officer, and a property tax consultant, which is, an unusual combination, but obviously makes perfect sense. Why did you pursue all three, and how do they work together?
So great question. Oh, and also CEO, business entity of Radar Group as well.
Right.
So it's just all a part of having options for our clients, right? I think knowledge is power. I come from a background not just in corporate America of continuously learning, but I've always liked to learn and know everything. And I don't like to typically take word of mouth from somebody. I'd like to really get in there. So, property tax, that's something great to understand. Obviously, we all understand the concept, but to be in there and the branding with the CADs, that's important as well, right? So, all this goes with branding, the central appraisal districts, which kind of further solidifies who you are and your knowledge and capabilities. These are professionals that do your property tax. So, if they know you know what you're doing, then yeah, everyone else should as well. Yeah, and then so we've got that the property tax, the licensed mortgage loan officer. I find that people, first of all, my C-suite customers are looking for financing options so they don't have to use their own capital. That's where it started out at number one, right? But also another benefit to that is that let's say folks who are doing the onesie twosie homes or whatever as I call them, like single. I think it's important that they trust who they're dealing with. And I think if you're able to eliminate another uh, person involved in the deal, I think it just goes that much smoother for you, right? And obviously, I have a team that processes that, so there's no noise incorporated with that.
Sure.
Uh, and then what was the other thing? Look at that. I've got methodology, property tax.
Yeah.
We've got the loan officer and realtor, of course. See
Yeah.
that? I have to count them up. But yeah, so
I,
it's
it's
just tools, man. I'm
and I am
validated. Mhm.
I imagine when you're meeting with a client, you're able to talk about a lot of these and say, here are the things I offer that are unique. And being a property tax consultant is that's unique. And it really speaks to, again, the level of that luxury client who wants to understand that. And then as an LO, you don't have to rely upon a lender to tell you all of the different options that are out there. You know them, and you can go find the best deal for your client. So you're right. I think they're buying into you. So why not assist them in every way that you can? I think that just makes
Yeah,
perfect
why
sense.
why wouldn't you wanna work with someone in a team that can help you every step of the way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I wanted to ask about. I have one, just basically one closing question for you. So,
Okay.
and if someone
Uh-oh.
listening, no, it's a good one. If someone listening right now is in their first or second year of real estate, they're working hard, maybe they haven't broken through quite yet, and they want to eventually work in the luxury space, not today, but down the road. What's the one thing you'd tell them to do, like right now, to start to move the needle forward?
Go to networking events. I was a host of networking events for the year, right? And people flew in, all the great people from California and whatnot. Go to networking events and talk to people. That is the best scenario. You're outside of your own box and you present yourself, and everyone's kind of the same until you start talking and figuring out what they do. Yep.
Right. That's great
Yep.
advice. Oh, I have one more actually.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
I just remembered one more. So your best advice is still loading, which you've said you've accomplished a lot, but you're still learning, and there's
I
more to do,
am.
right? And
I am.
what's the thing you're most actively working on getting better at right now? Because everyone's working on, well, I hope everyone's working on upping their skills. So what's the one thing you're working on right now for improving your skill?
Great question. But yeah, I want to point out the still loading just means I'm always learning.
Yeah,
Okay. I never
I
get to
love
the
that.
point where I think I know it all. Right. I always surround myself with people that think differently, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, but what was the question? I wanted to
So
make
yeah,
sure we
so
got that
what's
out
the
of the way.
one thing you're most actively working on getting better at right now?
Getting better at, I'd say juggling my senior
Yeah.
year of college with the workload. Honestly, that's
Yeah.
where I'm at.
I
That's where I'm at.
Oh my
I
gosh.
have to do my own work.
Yeah, that's amazing to get your degree at the same time as you've already built this massive business, and then to add that workload on is incredible.
And
I
you'll know why
imagine.
soon. Yeah, it's coming out. Or if you want to know, brokerage. Radar Group is a brokerage. I'm a business entity with the state of Texas. That's a
Yeah,
brokerage. So I'll be a broker at the end of the year.
amazing. Congratulations on all of
Thank you.
the success.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
I want to make sure that our audience knows where to find you. The website is Selling Dallas number 4 all. So Selling Dallas for all, that's the brand as well. You can find Instagram. You're everywhere basically. So just look for Darwin Stephens. We'll have links to all of your social and your website on our in our description, and then once the podcast comes live, we'll make sure we let our audience know how they can check that out. And I think it's important for agents to hear other agents who do podcasts, because it's really something that a lot of agents could probably benefit from, even if it's not necessarily there to get them deals. It certainly helps, if you work in a particular community and you feature that community in the podcast, and you're featuring people from within the community. I've seen a lot of agents do that, where maybe they come from a small suburb somewhere and they just make the suburb the podcast. And so I always think there's so much opportunity in that space. So if you're an agent and you're thinking about
Thank
doing a
you.
podcast, look for
Yeah.
what other agents are doing out there, and see. It's a lot of fun. And you can actually, it's also press technically, so it'll help you hopefully get a few people to check you out. But Darwin, thank you so much on behalf of our
Yeah.
audience for spending an hour with us. You've got a lot going on,
Wow.
and the
Yeah.
fact that you were able to spend this time is incredible. So we're grateful to
Thank
you.
you.
And then on behalf of Darwin and myself, we're grateful to the audience. So thank you for sticking around to the end of the episode. We appreciate you. Please support our sponsors. They help keep this whole ship afloat. And the best way you can help us is by telling a friend. So think of one other realtor in your office that needs to hear this great conversation we had with Darwin, and shoot them a link. We're everywhere podcasts are served. You can find us pretty easily. And we also post we do short form stuff on the social media accounts, including TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, everywhere. So you can find us and even get daily doses of some of the best wisdom. I'm actually doing a thing for the next 25 days where I make a video specifically about one of the episodes, and talking about one of the guests and a particular tip or tactic that they did, and I do it all within about 70 seconds. So check us out online, and we can find us anywhere, and we appreciate you for doing that. And we will see everybody on the next episode. Thanks, Darwin.
Thank you, DJ. Great time.